When I started trading, I thought the key to success was finding the perfect system. I studied everything: price action, order blocks, smart money concepts, ICT, Wyckoff, Elliott wave. Every week I discovered something new that promised to be the answer, and every single time I believed it. For 3 months, I'd trade one approach, I'd see some wins, feel good. Then I'd hit a losing streak and immediately think the system was broken. So I'd jump to the next one, then the next, then the next. After 2 years of this, I looked at my account and realized something devastating. I hadn't made any real progress. Not because the systems didn't work, but because I never stayed with one long enough to actually master it. I was trapped. Not by bad strategies, but by something far more dangerous: boredom. Because of boredom, I constantly found myself trying new things. So instead of mastering one system, I kept starting over from scratch, because trading the same setup over and over felt stale, repetitive, like I wasn't learning anything new. My brain craved novelty, new information, fresh strategies. And every time I opened social media, I saw someone teaching a new concept that looked more sophisticated than what I was doing. That feeling would creep in. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe that's the real edge. Maybe my system is too simple. And just like that, I'd abandon what was working and chase the new thing. This cycle destroyed me. And I know it's destroying you too. Because the uncomfortable truth is this: you don't need a better system. You need to stop running from the one you have. The system in your hands is sufficient, and all you need to do is operate it correctly. We all fall into this trap, but unfortunately most of us can't move forward because we can't accept this. Most traders will never admit this. They'll say they're just doing research, just expanding their knowledge, just staying updated. But that's a lie we tell ourselves. What we're actually doing is avoiding commitment. Because commitment is scary. Committing to one system means you have to face the possibility that even with perfect execution, you might still lose. And that's terrifying. So instead, we keep one foot out the door. We tell ourselves we're being smart by learning multiple approaches. But in reality, we're sabotaging our own progress. Because mastery doesn't come from knowing 10 systems at a surface level. It comes from knowing one system at a deep level. So deep that you can execute it in your sleep. So deep that when the market gets chaotic, you don't freeze. You respond automatically. This only happens through repetition. Through doing the same thing 1,000 times. And repetition is boring. That's the trap. Because it's boring, we assume we're doing something wrong, and we jump to new things to relieve our boredom. This way, we sabotage ourselves and undermine our process. We could be consistent and profitable, but our boredom prevents us from being so. We must accept this and understand that boredom is actually a sign of being profitable. We didn't start this business because trading is fun. We started this business to make money and gain our freedom. Here's what I learned the hard way. The profitable traders I know, the ones actually making consistent money, they're boring as hell. They trade the same setups, the same time frames, the same risk management, every single day. They don't get excited about new strategies. They don't jump on the latest YouTube trend. They just execute their edge over and over without drama. And it works, not because their system is magic, but because they've done it so many times that all the variables are accounted for. They know exactly how their system behaves in different market conditions. They know their win rate, their average loss, their drawdown tolerance. They have data. Real data. Not theoretical backtest data, but lived experience across hundreds of trades. That's what gives them confidence, not the system itself, but their relationship with it. And you can't build that relationship if you keep switching partners. To build this relationship, you must tolerate boredom for a long time. All you need to accept is that you'll make money in exchange for being bored. You should constantly remind yourself of this and tell yourself that trading doesn't have to be fun. You're not pressing these buttons to entertain yourself, because there's no difference between doing that and pulling a slot machine. This is serious business, and yes, seriousness brings boredom. There may not be short-term thrills, but you'll be more satisfied in the long run. I want to tell you about 2 traders I know. Both started around the same time. Both had similar capital. Both were intelligent and dedicated. Let's call them Daniel and Marcus. Daniel was a strategy collector. He had a folder on his computer with notes from 15 different trading educators. He knew ICT liquidity concepts, Wyckoff accumulation, patterns, supply and demand zones, market structure breaks, order blocks, fair value gaps. He could talk about all of it, sound smart in every trading conversation. And for 2 years, he rotated through these strategies. 3 months on one, hit a bad week. Switched to another. Every time he switched, he felt like he was upgrading, getting closer to the Holy Grail. But his account told a different story. Break even at best. More often, small consistent losses. Why? Because every time he switched, he reset his experience to zero. He never gave any single approach enough time to reveal its true edge. He jumped from strategy to strategy because he wasn't mature enough to tolerate boredom. He believed he needed to constantly entertain himself. But trading was serious business, and trading for entertainment doesn't make much sense. Marcus was different. He learned one simple breakout strategy. That's it. Buy when price breaks above resistance with volume, sell when it breaks below support with volume. Risk 1% per trade. No complexity, no advanced concepts. Just breakouts. The first 6 months, his results were mediocre. Some wins, some losses, slightly negative overall. Most people would have quit or switched, but Marcus didn't. He kept a detailed journal, every trade, every outcome, what he noticed, what he felt. And slowly, patterns emerged. He started recognizing which breakouts had higher probability based on context, time of day, market volatility, previous failed breakouts. These weren't things he read in a book. These were things he learned from experience. By month 9, his win rate improved. By month 12, his account was consistently profitable, not because the strategy changed, but because he changed. He became fluent in that one language. While Daniel was still trying to learn 15 languages at once, Marcus had made his familiar system even better, and now everything felt so familiar that he could execute his system correctly even with his eyes closed. He gradually started executing his system with more comfort and confidence because he had mastered when it worked and when it didn't. His trust in his system was established. Now there was almost no stress. Now let's fast forward everything 2 years. Daniel is still break-even, still searching for the perfect system, still convinced the next strategy will be the one. Marcus has grown his account 40%, quit his job, and trades part-time. Same starting point. Different outcome. The only difference? Commitment. Marcus was bored out of his mind for the first year. He told me so. Trading the same breakout setup every day felt mechanical, uninspiring. But he understood something most traders don't. Boredom is the price of mastery, and mastery is the price of freedom. He accepted the boredom. Daniel ran from it, and that made all the difference. So instead of seeing boredom as a bad thing, we should glorify it. Because if you're feeling bored, rest assured you're going in the right direction in your trading journey. This is a positive sign. This is where most traders fail, not in the market, but in their own minds. We're wired to crave novelty. It's how our brains work. New information triggers dopamine, makes us feel like we're progressing. But in trading, this wiring works against us. Because progress in trading doesn't feel like progress. It feels like repetition. It feels boring. The same setups, the same rules, the same execution. Day after day, week after week, month after month. Your brain screams for something new. And if you listen to that scream, you lose. Because every time you switch systems, you lose all the subtle knowledge you were building. The timing, the feel, the intuition that only comes from experience. You throw it all away and start from scratch. This is why system hoppers stay broke. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack patience. We're not patient enough. Here's the brutal truth. The market doesn't care about your boredom. It doesn't reward novelty. It rewards consistency. It rewards your ability to do the same correct thing repeatedly without getting distracted. Professional traders understand this. They've made peace with boredom. They know that excitement in trading is usually a sign of amateur behavior. Impulsive entries, revenge trading, over-leveraging. These things feel exciting. They also destroy accounts. Boring trading feels like nothing. And nothing is exactly what professional trading should feel like. No emotional highs, no emotional lows, just execution. Setup appears, criteria met, enter, risk managed, exit at target or stop. Repeat. That's it. It's not sexy. It won't impress anyone. But it makes money. And at the end of the day, making money is the only thing that matters. We should remind ourselves of this. We're going to make money in exchange for being bored, and this isn't going to be thrilling for us. These things will normalize. We're doing a job, and this is our reward for doing our job correctly. How illogical is it to expect this much fun and enjoyment from work, isn't it? But as you can see, we don't act that way. So let's continue with another question. I know what you're thinking, but what if my system really isn't good enough? What if I'm sticking to something that doesn't work? Fair question. Here's how you know. Have you traded it for at least 100 trades? Have you journaled every single one? Do you have actual data showing the system has no edge, or do you just feel like it's not working because you hit a bad week? Most traders confuse variance with failure. They take 10 trades, lose 6, panic, think the system is broken. But 10 trades proves nothing. If your system has a 60% win rate, losing 6 out of 10 is completely normal. Variance. You need a sample size, minimum 100 trades. Better yet, 200. Only then can you evaluate if the system actually has an edge, but most traders never get there. They quit at trade 15, switch to a new system, and the cycle continues forever. Breaking out of this damn cycle isn't as hard as you think. It's just about sticking to one system, keeping that system as simple as possible, and executing it without compromising your rules every day, even if you're incredibly bored. And when the time comes, witnessing yourself making the money you once dreamed of without even feeling excited. If you can be patient and mature enough, if you can stay loyal to your system while everyone constantly changes systems and strategies, you will be rewarded for this. This is inevitable. The market tries to manipulate you through your emotions. But if you become a trader who applies the same system and doesn't even feel excitement anymore, rest assured, no matter how hard the market tries to manipulate you, you'll do what you always do, close your computer and continue with your life. Your likelihood of falling into the market's manipulations will be negligible. Here's what I did that changed everything. I made a promise to myself. I would trade one system, just one, for 200 trades no matter what, even if I hated it, even if I lost, even if I saw other traders making money with different approaches. 200 trades. Non-negotiable. I picked a simple strategy. Moving average crossover with volume confirmation. Nothing fancy. Honestly, I thought it was too basic, but I committed. The first 50 trades were painful. I was bored. I saw other setups I wanted to take. I saw traders on Twitter posting wins with strategies I wasn't using. FOMO was killing me. But I stuck to the rule. 200 trades. By trade 100, something shifted. I started seeing things I didn't see before. Subtle patterns, context clues. I knew when the setup was high probability versus low probability. Not from analysis, from repetition. My hands knew. By trade 150, I was profitable. Not because the system improved, because I improved. I became fluent. And by trade 200, I had no desire to switch. I had found my edge, not in the strategy, but in my mastery of it. This was the important thing, not what kind of system the system was. What I really needed to focus on was my ability to execute it correctly. I had to be patient and loyal. I mastered my emotions. I developed as a human being. I strengthened mentally. And I managed to execute my system almost flawlessly. And for the first time, then I made the money that once decorated my dreams. I hadn't even felt excitement while doing these things. And at first, this felt very strange. But then I realized this. I wasn't feeling excitement because all these things happening were actually normal for me, and they should have been. Because I wasn't winning by chance, I was being rewarded because I managed to flawlessly execute a system I knew worked in a disciplined way. That's all it was. It was a long journey, but instead of deviating from my path, I had become more attached to it. In the end, I thought, this is what being a profitable trader is like. That's the lesson most traders never learn. The edge isn't in the system. It's in you. Your ability to execute it flawlessly under pressure. Your ability to stay patient when setups don't appear. Your ability to take the loss without revenge trading. Your ability to resist the temptation of other strategies. This only develops through time and repetition with one approach. You can't build this by jumping around. It's like trying to learn piano by practicing a different instrument every month. You'd never get good at any of them. Trading is no different. Pick one. Commit. Master it. Then, and only then, consider expanding. Rest assured, this is the only way out. There's no magic wand. There's no mysterious strategy. The holy grail is you. not the strategies. Your mastery over yourself is the only thing that determines everything. The rest is truly details. The market will test your commitment. It's guaranteed. You'll hit losing streaks. You'll see other traders winning while you're losing. You'll doubt yourself. You'll wonder if you made the wrong choice. This is the loyalty test, and most traders fail it. They break, they switch, they reset to zero. The ones who pass, who stay loyal to their system through the pain, those are the ones who survive long enough to become profitable. Because here's the secret. Every system works, and every system fails, depending on market conditions. No strategy wins all the time. If you jump ship during the losing periods, you'll never be there for the winning periods. You have to weather both. That requires commitment, not to the market, but to your process. You must stick to the process. You must be bored. I'm not saying you can never change systems. I'm saying you need to earn the right to change by proving to yourself that you've truly mastered the current one. How do you know you've mastered it? When you can execute it perfectly without thinking, when you've traded it through multiple market conditions, when you have 200+ trades of data, when your emotions no longer interfere, when you're bored but profitable. That's mastery. And only from that place of mastery can you make an informed decision to try something else. But even then, most traders who reach mastery don't switch because they realize they don't need to. They've found their edge, and that edge isn't the system. It's them. So here's my challenge to you. Stop researching. Stop learning new strategies. Stop watching YouTube videos about the next big concept. Pick one system. Commit to 200 trades. Journal every single one. And no matter what happens, don't switch until you hit 200. If you do this, one of two things will happen. Either you'll discover the system actually works and you'll become profitable, or you'll have concrete data proving it doesn't work and you can move on with clarity, not emotion. Either way, you win. But if you keep doing what you've been doing, jumping from strategy to strategy, hoping the next one will save you, you'll stay exactly where you are. Broke, frustrated, confused. The choice is yours. Either stay loyal to your strategy or keep searching for that perfect strategy you'll never find and postpone your dreams with each passing day. Trading doesn't reward the smartest. It doesn't reward the hardest working. It rewards the most consistent. The ones who can do the boring thing over and over without quitting. That's the real edge. And it has nothing to do with indicators or patterns or market structure. It has everything to do with your ability to commit to one system, to one process, to one path. Even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when everyone else seems to be winning with something different. That commitment is what separates professionals from amateurs. Consistency from chaos. Profit from loss. You don't need a better system. You just need to become better at the one you have. And the only way to do that is through time, repetition, and unwavering commitment. Build one system. Stick to it. That's the entire game. Everything else is just noise. The holy grail is you, yourself. Strategies are just tools. Don't forget that.